Hi, I'm Laurel.
My name is Hazel.
My name is Rowan Collum.
My name is Allison Kessler.
My name is Sylvie Pavlov.
My name is Annabella Vaca.
My name's Ava von Ziegart.
My name is Vincent.
And I've been at OSA since 6th grade.
I came here in 10th grade.
Been at OSA 3 years.
7 years now.
Second year at OSA.
In 6th grade.
Halfway through 9th grade.
And now I am a senior. And I'm in visual art.
I'm in visual art.
And I'm in visual arts.
And I've been in the visual arts department at OSA since the 6th grade.
So I remember being really nervous for my audition and feeling really tiny compared to all of the high schoolers that were on campus. I remember being walked up to the audition room, but everyone who was volunteering was super sweet, so I kind of already felt welcomed before I was even enrolled in the school.
I actually auditioned 2 times. First time obviously more scared than the second, and so we went up to 271, and that kind of just was not like a culture shock, but it was very different than I've seen artists' spaces beforehand. It seemed very messy and a lot more just creative overload to me, which was super cool. So I appreciate it, and I was like, yes, I like this place.
My first time on campus, I remembering it being very chaotic. It was very loud, a lot of people. OSA is such a small place too, so when you come in, you have a whole crowd of 6th, 7th graders coming in through the stairs, and you look up, there's students everywhere. You look to the side, there's students everywhere. It's an energy.
I think my very first day of school, I actually got there late, and so I was running through the halls to find my first period class, and it was so terrifying because when you're 4 feet tall, those hallways are huge to you, and when you're alone in the hallways too, and there's high schoolers passing you by who are miles taller than you, it was terrifying. So I just remember it being really, really big.
We had a blast. I have really vivid memories of going to the farmer's market with you guys, which was so fun. You know what? And when I look at the work that we did in that class, I'm like, I was pretty ambitious with you guys. There's something about the nature of that class. I remember it being a big class and a lot of energy, but you guys were down. We did monotypes. We did those paper mache sculptures. We did things that I feel for 6th grade we're really invested in. And I feel I don't have that experience necessarily with every 6th grade class.
This is hard because I feel I'll be dancing around a lot of the buildings all the time. In the middle of classes, I'll be going from the main building to Newberry to spying the pianists and all the other jazz bands, and sometimes I'll be dancing to the white box to find cameras and other things. I don't know, my experience going around from building to building has been very fun.
Probably the first white box show.
I think one that I'm going to remember for a while is my first art show.
That was something I'd never ever experienced before. It was pretty hectic. There's always so many people there. I mean, obviously not anymore. It was just crazy to see that many people that were excited and coming to see the stuff.
That was just an amazing moment because normally schools where you do art in, they don't offer settings like that. It's just you complete the work and then you move on. It's not we're working to produce a gallery of art.
And yeah, people shouting out my artwork, and even people I didn't know too well, they were this is really tight, this is cool, which was cool. That had never really happened for me before.
I also think just being around the Fox Theater is just a monument in itself. It's every day you get to arrive at your school and you're in Uptown and you're surrounded in all this culture and you have the freaking Fox Theater right there. It's crazy and it's so beautiful inside. And it's such a historical monument to Oakland and to the Bay Area that it's, I don't know, it's a bit breathtaking just to be there.
271 was pretty dope because it was like our space. So I kind of felt like that was something that was really nice.
As a printmaker, I love wherever the press is. So 271 is kind of like a nice room. It has everything in it.
Oh, that's easy. I love the white box. I love the white box because it's not on the main campus. There's like a psychological or mental freedom in that space because it's off of campus. It sort of allows people to feel more comfortable with experimenting. It kind of, because it physically separates us from the rest of the campus, I feel like it can help shed a layer that you leave behind on the main campus. And then when you get to the white box, it's this whole other physical space that you're like, oh, I'm here to like get dirty, experiment, make some work. So that's why I like the white box.
I will forever love the white box, and we'll miss it when we don't have it, because we built that classroom from the ground up, and it has all our best toys.
What is hiding in the white box? Oh my God, what is hiding in the white box? There's a lot of stuff hiding in the white box.
So it's a little scary. There's so many things there.
Other than Youngie's collection of millions of frames.
They're going to blame it on me. You know, everybody likes to say, you know, oh, Mr. Youngie's got too much stuff in that storage room.
There's a lot of history to the white box before I arrived. So the white box existed, I want to say, at least 1.5 years before I arrived at OSA. So there's at least 1.5 years of Mr. Youngie hiding stuff somewhere.
It's a gamble. You could find anything up there. It's amazing.
There very possibly could be one of our old teachers buried somewhere.
I feel like there's a frame troll that only comes out when Mr. Youngie is not around.
There will be something found. If not a portal to another dimension, my guess is all the lost artwork that students have complained about over the years.
I imagine lots of different artwork and like artwork on the back of artworks.
Definitely artwork from a student that wanted it like 10 years ago. And they're like, hey, you remember that thing that I made? Where is that? That is in the white box behind something for sure.
I don't like to call it hoarding. Hoarding is such an ugly word. My gathering tendencies.
So, unfortunately, we have to move out of the white box because there are various factors that are pointing us into a direction where we need to find a space that better suits our needs as a school and as a department.
I think the thing that I'll miss most about the white box was the versatility of it, right? That we could shape that space for whatever we needed to be. But I think it really was also a symbol for the visual art department. And that was one thing I felt like talking to a lot of our students, they want to feel like they want to have a real space or a place amongst all the arts since at our school. And I guess with the white box, it created that. I liked the public nature of it. I think that we represented OSA very effectively by having storefront windows right there on San Pablo for everybody to see our work. It was a great public outreach venue.
But I think the smell of fresh paint and the lighting that we have and the ability to walk around that space feels very much like our OSA community. So that I love about it.
Only coming in about a year ago, I think the way that the white box feels like it has all these layers of other artists that have worked there. I feel like it has a history that'll be really sad to see go.
The white box exists because of a lot of hard work from generations of parents, from generations of students, from all the hard work the teachers have put into the space. And it's like I think there's just a lot of memories that reside there. And so there's a sentimental value. And I think that's Probably what I'll miss most is just having to leave behind a physical space that contains so many memories where I won't get a chance to make new ones. But there will be another space where new memories will be made, but that place will have its own special place in my heart and in my memories.
Oh, am I allowed to say that?
This is such a scary question to answer.
Miss Wynn was like so welcoming to me when I was new, so I love her.
Probably like Mr. Youngie.
Mr. Youngie last year had a really good time in his class.
I would have to say Mr.
A
Youngie.
tie between Mr. Youngie and Mr. Pablo.
Mr. Pablo this year has also been really, really cool.
I love Mr. Pablo too, just want to put that out there.
My favorite teacher is definitely Mr. Youngie and Mr. Pablo. They've been the most supportive and have the most fun classroom environments.
I feel like they're kind of a yin and a yang a little bit. I really enjoyed Mr. Youngie's class in person, like playing music and talking about music a lot. This sort of loose aspect of it. But then Pablo has been a really good mentor when it comes to like colleges and talking about careers and like expanding on what I make and stuff like that.
I think the most memorable thing about your grade is not only your commitment to your art forms that you do. You are a really hard working group of people who are really into what you are doing. All classes form a sort of a family, and some are more dysfunctional than others. And I would say that yours is pretty functional, actually, especially with the diversity of personalities that you have. It's really great to see how you accept and support one another. And I mean, you had to too, because you have had an educational experience that's not like the other classes going through. And so I don't know, I feel like you already headed that direction. You had been through a lot, and maybe that cemented it, but I found your camaraderie heartwarming.
One of my favorite eras was definitely screen printing. I thought working with the upperclassmen was like really cool. Another era I really enjoyed, this is like a little random, but I loved when OSA had like the fun bells. I thought that time was cute when we had like different bells every month. Like I loved that.
The beginning of 11th grade meant a lot to me because there was something in the air. It was like the weather and the people that I was getting to know. Like our class had finally started getting smaller and I became closer with everybody in it, and yeah, it just felt whole and complete.
I like the Sanchez Contemporary project because it was like everybody was doing something different. Like Sylvie was toasting bread and then like scraping out. That was so cool.
Go into one of your critiques online, and you all had done these beautiful three-dimensional dioramas of your rooms that were supposed to fold down. Some of them didn't fold down, but they were incredible. I was so impressed and thrilled that you all were still working through the pandemic.
When we do the character development project in 8th grade, a lot of people's personalities come out. A lot of like the stuff that you guys are sort of marinating on as individuals, and maybe even like exploring certain like identity stuff. You're getting to know yourselves. So a lot of that stuff ends up coming out in the comics or in the character development. And I just remember getting to know each one of you a lot more in that process, because it was like all of a sudden your true selves were coming out in these like cartoons that you were developing.
The memories I have are visual memories, and they are memories of us listening to music and painting on pixels. There's something about that activity. We were listening, we were sharing music with each other. We had a playlist. And those times of casual but dedicated work time with a group of creative people all doing their own thing together, that's a blessing in life.
I think this is the hardest year. I mean, doing school and quarantine has just been an absolute nightmare. It's not the way I learn, and it's just been a struggle.
I guess all of like quarantine, I know that's not a grade, but it kind of almost is, just because it's like online school is like really tough. It's like hard to learn, it's hard to pay attention, and it's hard not being able to see people.
My first year at OSA was the hardest because I'm pretty shy and I don't really I'm not great at making friends and stuff, so I had a lot of trouble finding my footing.
I had a lot of struggles making art and just being creative, and like I just wasn't motivated at all. But then I did that internship with Presida I's muralists and Miss Marina and a couple other students at OSA, and so like every weekend I would go to the Mission. It was like this safe haven that OSA had gifted me through this internship that was really cool, and so that's probably the start of me trying to get back.
The hardest grade was definitely sophomore year. There was just so much like going on with like friendships and like sense of self and stuff. And I think what got me through it, not to be corny, was like art and movies that drove my art to different places.
It wasn't at OSA, it was sophomore year, and what helped me through it was knowing I got into OSA.
Playing a bunch of piano and drawing all the stuff I can, being creative has really helped me, get through the really difficult times, keeping my mind occupied, just working through it.
Honestly, also just like being able to do a lot of stuff independently, like with my art, has been like, it's been getting me through it in general, just because I've been able to like reach a point where I can do more just like kind of self-motivated. And I think a lot of people in our class are also at that point, so it's cool to like see that everyone's there.
I think that I'm gonna miss being surrounded by so many different people who are driven to make things.
I will miss the people very much. It's just a vibrant community.
The visual arts class, definitely.
I'd say something I'm gonna miss a lot is the faculty and how much they care.
I think the teachers are a wonderful thing at OSA. They really help to shape our environment.
All the performances and shows at OSA, I'm gonna miss those a lot.
Like the music that's always somewhere in the building.
I mean, I'm already missing it. Definitely just the whole Fox, the whole building. It's like you take it for granted while you're there, but it's a really cool area to like be creative and like make art in.
I'll miss the buildings for sure. Like just the feeling of walking up into the Fox, even though like going up all the stairs was always tough, especially with like your backpack full of like textbooks and notebooks and sketchbooks and stuff.
Being in downtown Oakland, I've lived in Oakland my whole life, and I just love that area, and I love being able to like hang out there in between classes and stuff.
Just like being surrounded, I'm sure I'll be surrounded by artists, but like I don't know if it'll ever be like that.
Just the immersion of different arts was really cool, and I'm gonna miss it a lot.
I hope that you all will stay in touch. That's like one of my favorite things, is hearing back from old students. But I also just hope that the world that you enter when you leave school is one that is opened up again, that you can go places and do stuff and see people.
I wish that you all continue on your creative paths. I know that might not be the case, and some of you might go, more into an academic realm, but I think it's something that's going to be in there in your heart no matter what. So even if it's an outlet, a form of meditation, I hope you guys retain that sense of self in your creativity, whatever that may be.
My hopes and wishes for you guys are stuff that I've already said, is that you continue to make and think and experience and grow as artists and as people. And I hope that someday you're able to create the loop and give this back to somebody else, and you know, keep the cycle going.
What I wish and what I hope is that you continue to believe in yourselves, that you continue to work towards a better future, and that I hope you feel empowered to change the world. The future is in your hands, and we have done everything that we can to support you and to show you the best that we have to offer. And so what I wish is that you take all of these tools that you've been developing over the years and that you use them to make this a better place for the future that will follow you. Because that's all that we each do, right? We do the best that we can in our lifetimes to hopefully hand off a better world than the one we inherited for the next generation. So that's what I hope for you.